Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Sexton with Agrison, and with me here today is Dr. Brian Cornelius. He's our Director of Applied Science for Agrison. He oversees all field and university research. Welcome, Brian. Today we're going to talk about the importance of UAN at Sidedress and how we can improve that for our growers so they can get maximum efficiency.
Yeah, Steve, thanks for joining me on this little short video so we can really get the point across of why it's so important to use technology to get the most out of this UAN Sidedress application that a lot of our growers are getting ready to gear up for. So let's see if we can get them a few really quick points, short and sweet, and really nail it home. So guys, we're talking about adding technology to UAN at Sidedress, and the technology that we're talking about is Extract PBA, or Extract Powered by Accomplish. Just to give you a quick rundown, Extract is a proprietary blend of the fertilizer biocatalyst and ATS, unique to Loveland products with some pretty key benefits as it relates to the broadcast sprays, residue management, and UAN. And those benefits are accelerating nutrient mineralization and recycling, improving the uniformity of emergence and plant vigor, extending nutrient availability later into the season, and improving that overall nutrient use efficiency concept, or that well-balanced diet of all of the nutrients the crop needs. And this kind of tells the whole story of why this is so important. If you look at general nutrient use efficiency or general nutrient efficiency, the story is not that great when we look at nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, as well as other nutrients that aren't on this chart. But if you look at our macronutrients, the three primary, nitrogen, the focus of the Sidedress applications, only about 50% efficient, phosphorus 10 to 30, potassium 20 to 60, but we're using the nitrogen application to incorporate the technology into, Steve, and that's going to also help us with the other nutrients like phosphorus, potassium, and other secondary nutrients.
And we have to remember that half of the UAN, urea portion of UAN, 50% of it has to be converted into ammonium, and that's a process, a biological process,
yeah,
Brian, that involves what?
Hydrolysis, and enzymes from soil microorganisms, which is the base of the biocatalyst technology. So when you talk about, an issue, first, nitrogen in general is 50% efficient. And then from a UAN standpoint, only 50% of that, or half of that, is in a form that has to be converted. We've got to figure out a way to take a biological process and influence that hydrolysis process with technology to get the most out of that nitrogen that we apply. So to get there, we've got some key considerations that we need to think about. One is, okay, when to apply, how to apply, what to apply, and what rate. So we're going to come back to the when and talk about, more details, but how to apply, that's really based on the cultural practices, Steve, or the equipment of the growers. What to apply today, again, we've got options, but we're talking about UAN. The rate, we know that that's always based on soil test recommendations, yield goals, and other things like pre-plant in. So now let's really dig into this when. So we know, and we've both been exposed to Dr. Bilo at University of Illinois, and he tells us that it's got to be in that V4 to V8 timing. That is critical. There's not much nitrogen that has been used by the plant at that point, and it's getting ready to go into that rapid uptake period. So we've got to keep all that stuff in consideration, Steve.
So Brian, what he says is there's a 21-day period, right?
That's correct. The next slide you see here, guys, that talks about it. Is that rapid uptake period, 21 days. And the key there is that the plant's going to take up 7 pounds of nitrogen per acre per day in that 21 days. And if you miss it today, Steve, you can't make up. So guys, we've got to make sure that we use this technology to get the most out of that nitrogen, to get it in the plant during this period, because we don't want to fall behind.
So Brian, you've gone over the efficiency of nitrogen. That's one problem our growers are facing. Now the timing, the critical timing uptake. Now let's talk about availability.
Yeah, so when we're talking about increasing the availability of UAN. We know that half of that UAN is urea. In order to get the most out of half of that nitrogen that we plant or that we apply, We've got to go and use technology to drive that conversion, that biological conversion process called hydrolysis, to get the most out of it. And if we do that, there's some pretty good benefits that come along with that. Just showing you a value proposition, at current commodity prices, which are much higher than the $5.50 per bushel we've got on this slide, there is a very minimal investment, only about 2.2 bushels to cover the cost of that application for a response that's going to give you on average across all of our data, Steve, about 10 bushels. If we look at trials that we did, this is University of Nebraska, just look at the amount of nitrate in that system, pretty significant 17% increase, or another almost 10 pounds per acre. Pretty favorable. On top of that, look, even more phosphorus. So just to give you guys one little piece of information here from New Brunswick, Indiana, you guys can see it. 70 gallons of UAN, 28% plus, 37 ounces of instinct versus 70 gallons of the same 28% nitrogen with 24 ounces of instinct, but we've added a gallon of extract. We've added the technology to it, and you can see that same 10 bushel increase that we get across the board on all of our trials when we average those together. So real quick, we're going to finish this up with a quick summary. Again, extract offers us that ability to increase the efficiency of that sidedress nitrogen, influencing both the applied as well as that residual N, Steve. We can't discount what happens with that conversion in the soil. We showed you that 17% increase from the University of Nebraska. And again, very good economic benefit, very minimal, 2.2 bushels to break even. And again, that average yield response was 10 bushels, Steve.
And Brian, we're increasing the efficiency of nitrogen with the addition of extract, increasing availability. So it's there when we need it for the timing.
That's it.
Solving all three problems.
Yeah, we've got to bring it all together. It's a whole system. Let's bring it all together. So guys, appreciate it. We just want you to know that you can contact us if you need to. The information is there on the slide. Look us up through email or just give us a call. We appreciate all the feedback. Thanks a lot. Look forward to having a successful sidedress season.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Steve.